What's up guys, this is Ace Geek. Today we are going to talk about Ungoogled Chromium. Long story short, Google Chrome sucks for privacy. Now with that out of the way, I'm here to show you how to download, install and tweak the Ungoogled Chromium browser. Bear in mind that installing and configuring Ungoogled Chromium isn't the most user-friendly experience for your average user, but fortunately it isn't too complicated. There's just a couple of steps involved. Keep in mind that while we primarily focus on Windows machines in this video, macOS and Linux users can also easily follow along, especially for the configuration portion. In order to understand Ungoogled Chromium, you first need to understand what Chromium is. In short, Chromium is the open source engine and framework that Google Chrome is derived from. This does not necessarily mean that Chromium is Google Chrome. This also does not at all mean that Chromium, as it is a private alternative to Google Chrome. This gap is exactly where Ungoogled Chromium steps in. Ungoogled Chromium is what its name implies. It is Chromium stripped of its dependencies on Google Web Services such as safe browsing and Google Location Service. This improves your online privacy because it totally eliminates the phoning home to Google servers, something that even regular Chromium does. For example, safe browsing sends data of the sites you visit to Google to ensure that these sites are safe. This feature sounds good, but if you follow your standard internet safety checklists, you will be pretty good at avoiding obviously unsafe sites. The privacy issue with a safe browsing web search is that you are feeding Google machine free information. You can bet that they are recording what sites you visit, when you visit them, how often you visit them, etc. Ungoogled Chromium also removes the Google defaults. For example, regular Chromium sets your browser's default search engine to Google. Ungoogled Chromium's default is its no search feature. While Ungoogled Chromium is a solid Chromium-based browser for privacy, you should be aware that it is not without its faults. Some of its faults might compromise user experience as it is maintained by a small group of developers. Patches come out slower than for standard Chromium, but despite this, the developers are very good at being speedy in applying released security updates to the source code. Binaries are created by volunteers. This is also a warning that can be found on the Ungoogled Chromium's GitHub download page. Downloading and installing Ungoogled Chromium requires a couple more steps than just clicking download now on the browser's website. This is mostly because Ungoogled Chromium does not have its own dedicated website. Rather, the downloaded files alongside Ungoogled Chromium's source code are hosted on a GitHub repository. On visiting the site, you will see that the web browser is available for different operating systems including Arch Linux, macOS and Windows. You have to click on the Windows 32 or 64-bit version depending on your system architecture. To know your system architecture, open up Powershell or CMD by searching it in the Start menu, and in the console, type in or copy and paste the command from the description down below and hit enter. This command will output the Windows OS architecture accordingly. After downloading the exe file, go to the downloaded folder and double-click on it to install it. After the completion of installation, you can use it to surf the internet with extended privacy. It has a clean homepage showing the icon in the middle. Ungoogled Chromium does not come with any search engine by default. By default, Ungoogled Chromium enables its no search feature. This disables searching the web via a default search engine by just typing your query into the address bar. While this is certainly a solid feature for increased privacy, some users might want to search the web using a private search engine from their address bars. You have to set a search engine from the settings menu. For this, click on the three vertical dots on the top right corner of the browser and select the settings option. Do note that it does not have Google search engine because of its name. Now click on the search engine option on the left panel and select your favorite search engine from the drop-down menu. So this is how you can install and use Ungoogled Chromium. Unlike Google Chrome, Firefox and other web browsers, installing extensions is not straightforward in Ungoogled Chromium. You have to do some steps to add extensions to it. I know, it sounds crazy, but we are going to download an extension that allows us to download extensions from the official Chrome Web Store without creating or signing into a Google account. It's kind of like extensionception. Get it? This extension called Chromium Web Store is not found on the Chrome Web Store. We are going to install it directly from its GitHub repository. Now open up any browser and click the link in the description to go to this page. Now download the chromiumwebstore.crx file. Double check that you are downloading the correct file. It ends in .crx. You don't need to download any of the source code. Save the chromiumwebstore.crx file to a safe place. Now open up the Ungoogled Chromium browser. In the address bar, type in this. You can just copy it from the description down below. Change handling of extension mime type requests to always prompt for installation. This makes it more user-friendly to install .crx files, which are packed version of Chromium extensions. Now in the address bar, type this like so, Chrome extensions. In the top right, enable developer mode. It's enabled when you can see buttons for load unpacked and pack extension. Open a Explorer window on your PC now. Navigate to the folder where you saved the CRX file. Drag that chromiumwebstore.crx file to your Chromium browser like so. You should get a dialog box warning like this. Go ahead and click Add Extension. The extension should install. You should now see something like this. While Ungoogled Chromium does wonders for your privacy because it stops the phoning home to Google servers, it doesn't do a ton for your privacy while browsing the internet. What I really mean is that it doesn't have the likes of a built-in ad or tracker blocker. Thankfully, you can install privacy extensions that provide tracker blocking to bolster your privacy when using the browser. We will be downloading these extensions straight from the Chrome Web Store with no Google account. I will be installing the wide spectrum tracker blocker, uBlock Origin. Now go to the Chrome Web Store, search for the extension you would like to download. Go to the extensions page. In the top right, you should see a button Add to Chromium as if you were logged into a Google account. Seeing Add to Chromium without being logged into a Google account is a good thing. It means our Chromium Web Store extension is working. Click Add to Chromium. You should get this dialog box. Click Add Extension. The extension should install. And we are done. Ungoogled Chromium is a great privacy-focused Chromium-based browser. It is fast, stripped of Google's proprietary coding that can intrude on your privacy, and compatible with many Chrome extensions. However, where it shines in its de-googling and user privacy-first initiative sometimes means it isn't as user-friendly as other Chromium browsers. But I assure you that it is definitely much more user-friendly than hardened Firefox. Well, that's about it. Hopefully this video taught you something valuable, whether you choose to use what you found here or not. And be sure to like and comment to hack the YouTube algorithm. Have a great day. Take care.